Tough game the other night for sure. I really liked the way our kids played. I really loved the way we competed. Thought we played the game the right way for sure. And but it came really. I think they had a good team. Really was impressed with Rio Grande's quarterback. Thought was a really good player. We knew the wideout was good, and they were certainly hard to handle. But in a game where you know really the statistics that that jump out at you when you come out on top, first downs, total yards, things like that. And then, but it really, I mean, going through the game, it boils down to the red zone was that's the ball game, So they had four red zone trips and scored 21 points, missed one field goal. We had four red zone trips and scored six. So that's the game. We had a turnover in the red zone, we had a turnover on downs, and we had to settle for field goals in two areas. I thought that was the number one area. The second area, which I thought was more glaring than that, but really came down to the second quarter, was the conversion downs. I mean, they converted every third down in the second quarter, and we did not. So it's kind of a strange game. And when you look at it and think about it, we had the ball 11 minutes to four in the first quarter, and a little over 11 minutes to a little under four in the third quarter. So we kind of dominated the first quarter and the third quarter, but we didn't turn them into points. We didn't turn them into touchdowns, and that's the problem. And of course, then when they got momentum and they got down there, then they were able to score touchdowns. So that was a big thing. Like I said, other than that, I don't have any problems with the way we competed. The first turnover of the game, and it's a good play by them, but the guy tips the ball, and there's a defensive lineman really not even rushing. It goes right in his lap. It's a tough break. They actually fumbled the ball two or three times in the first half. We weren't able to get them, so that's just kind of how it goes. It was one of those games, but I did think our kids competed really hard. You know, Combination of things. I wish I could pinpoint one thing of why we did not convert in the red zone, but you can point to multiple things. I think maybe a couple of calls could have been better, and I think maybe we could have executed better at certain times of there too. So, but anyway, nevertheless, it is a loss, and I know our kids were really disappointed in the result, but I was encouraged by the way we're competing, and even the fact that I mean we had two penalties, and I think we all agree one of them was pretty close over there on their sideline. It's kind of woo, but anyway, so I do like that phase of it. I like the way we're competing. I think all of that has improved throughout the course of the year. We just have to turn them into being able to win one of these close games, one of these. Which again, I mean, the score ended up being two touchdowns, but statistically and everything, it was a 50-50 game. We got to figure out how to win those games, and I got to do better helping them win those games. So we'll work on that. Lamar, I'm impressed with what they're doing this season. They're 8-3 on the year. I think they're very, very well coached. I think they're very physical. That's kind of their MO. I know Coach Rosamanda, Coach Pete is, he's an O-line guy. You can tell, they kind of take on, I think his demeanor. It's probably the biggest team we've played, really. I think Lafayette, a couple people were big, up front on the line, but they're really big. When you look at their O line, are all 300 plus. Both the tight ends they play are huge, big guys. And receiver wise, they're big, and they're just big everywhere. They have a big team. I think they're physical. They do what they do on offense. They want to run the football, and that's they don't make any bones about that. And then they want to pull it out, and they want to try to throw over the top of you once you start committing other guys to come in. So they've been really good on both of those fronts. They've played two quarterbacks throughout the course of the year. Number 4, number 14. 4 started against Stephen F. 14 finished. I think one of them has 5 starts and one of them has 6 starts. So they've been kind of running back by committee. Number 43 actually, was the one that broke the touchdown run against Stephen F. Austin. So, he hasn't really been the starter this year. Love the Fusilier kid receiver. I remember him coming out of Nederland High School. He's a good football player, and he's been their main receiver, I guess, that they went to. And then defensively, they're long and have been very stingy this year. They don't put themselves in bad positions, kind of keep the ball in front of them, and you have to drive the football to go score a lot of like what we saw last week and stuff. So it's going to be a tough game. I'm impressed with what they're doing. I don't think it's any secret. Uh, the formula, Stephen F. Austin, congratulations to them. They won the Southland, which I thought they had a really good football team. Southeastern is right there, obviously, with a chance. And I don't know. I'm assuming maybe if Lamar, if they win, they may have a shot, for three teams. But I think all three teams, when you see how they're built, they have stability in their football program with their coaches. From what I understand, according to AI, we have to be off the field early at Lamar because they have 31 seniors for senior day. And it just, I mean, we can all, you know, whatever, you know, act a certain way or treat things a certain way. But come on, I mean, there's a common theme with people who win in this league. Period. And we haven't been that here. And hopefully maybe we can work towards that because that's the teams that have been successful, and that's the teams that we're playing that have some stability in their program. They have developed players and kept players in their system. This is still a developmental league, as much as everybody wants to transfer and stuff, which I believe you have to do that too. But this is still a developmental league. You have to keep kids in your program. You have to have some stability in your program, and I applaud Lamar. I think they've done it the right way, and it's paid off for them. So, any questions?
You see a lot of similarities to those three teams in what kind of used to be here
Uh,
as far as the development.
yeah, I mean, you would like
years and
that.
years.
Yeah, you would certainly like that, and I think that's something that, and we talk about it all the time as a staff. I think you certainly have to take players out of the portal. I mean, you have to. There's no question. But I think there has to be a foundation, and there's still a developmental league any way you look at it. And yeah, I guess I do see some similarities in how the programs are built and are set up, and maybe in the fact that they've had. I keep using that word, but they've had some stability. They've had some continuity in the program. Who was it? The great basketball coach Al McGuire, said the best thing about a freshman is he becomes a sophomore, and you kind of move it, through the deal and you develop them and stuff. And I think there's some validity to that for sure.
How are you, or what areas are you hoping to see improvement to get more efficiency and production in the red zone?
I think we had some opportunities to hit a couple throws and we didn't. We had opportunity to keep the quarterback in the pocket a couple times and we didn't. And so that's I think the main things that jumped out. And like I said, hey, probably a couple calls could have been better. Hindsight, when you look at them and stuff, maybe we could have called this here and this was situation here. And I'm always going to second guess myself on that. That's where I always start when you look at it. But we could have executed better too in a couple spots. And like I said, the quarterback got out of the pocket twice, and and we dropped a guy and stuff. And then we felt like there were a couple opportunities offensively that we didn't execute. I mean, boy, it's and then it just didn't happen and stuff. So that's the main thing. I think when you look at it, because you have to go back to, and that's the game, was red zone production versus non-red zone production, and because other than the red zone, I thought it was a 50-50 game.
The red zone and third down specifically.
Yeah.
Those are the two main things.
When I went back and looked at it, it was because that's all I thought about was until I actually dove into the stats Sunday morning. But that's all I could think about Saturday night was the red zone and the conversions. But the conversions really were the second quarter. Now they were still had a high percentage, but they hit every one in the second quarter, and we couldn't get them off the field. Second quarter, we had an opportunity to stay on the field a couple times too. If you go back and look, I mean, we were still a little over 50% offensively. On am I saying that right? Yeah. So our conversions on third down as a team were still okay. But you go back to when I broke it down Sunday morning and looked at it, the thing that jumps to you is the second quarter, and we just couldn't. There were two straight drives there. We just could not get them off the field. I'm talking about 3rd and 13, 3rd and 11, third, and we couldn't get them off the field. And then we had, what was it, the third and 4, and we get a tipped interception, then we get another third and 3 or 4, and we don't get it. And so we actually had better manageable third downs than they did. But I mean, they hit. I want to say, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but I want to say 4 of those were 10 plus that they converted in the second quarter. 2 on one drive, 2 on the other drive, and one of them, the first touchdown, I think it was over 10,
Yeah.
like third and 12 or 13 or something, and we had an opportunity. He got out of the pocket. We dropped the coverage, but so to me, I mean, it goes back to the execution part of it, and we just have to execute better.
You guys still it's still kind of a big game. In fact, that you could end up being not only 500 in league, but basically 500 outside of the FBS, right? The FBS games.
Yeah.
So it would still be. This is still kind of a big game then.
Oh, it's a huge game for us. I mean, I think it's obviously a big game. I'm assuming it's a big game for them, but yeah, no, this is a huge game for us. I mean, it's another opportunity for us to play. It's Lamar, and really since I've been gone, I guess is our rival now, and stuff because I mean I forgot what year, but I only played Lamar like 5 times, maybe 4 or 5 times, and when they were coming in and stuff, but you know, everything when I was here was really the Demons. Was Northwestern, and then Lamar came in. But it seems like to me, by reading since I've been gone and stuff, that Lamar has kind of become. Obviously, it's the last game of the year, and it's become our closest rival. And then what's everybody calling it now? The Battle of the Border and stuff. So that was all kind of in the infancy stage when I was first here and stuff, but it seems like it's gained a lot of traction here through the years.
What's your message to this team entering this final week?
Same, hey, talked to him yesterday and actually pulled out what I had on the board to start August camp, which was 3 things, which was urgency, body language, and finish. And this is obviously as urgent as it gets. It's the last game. Body language, hey, get over the loss. It's a tough loss. Put a smile on your face when you get back in the building here after you go get some rest and you come back in the building, hey, let's get your body language back, and and we got another opportunity this week, and then finish. It's the last game. We got an opportunity to finish. So that was the message verbatim last night whenever we met with the team, and that was what I left them with, and that was actually the first 3 things I put on the when we started August camp, because coming out of spring ball and all that, I didn't feel like for us to be a good football team, the urgency wasn't nowhere close where it needed to be, And then, secondly, I've just good teams have good body language, and we have gotten better through the year. I will say, and I'll give the kids credit on 1 and 2. We've gotten a lot better. The urgency has become better in practice and everything else. Body language has become better, and we're still working on the finish. Just to try to finish. But when we started camp, I was talking about finishing plays, finishing drills, finishing the day, finishing. I think good teams, at least that I've been around, successful individuals I've been around, they have some urgency about them. There's some great body language about them, and you finish what you start. I mean, that's kind of what makes you successful. And I didn't feel like we were anywhere close when we started the season. And I think I'll give them credit, but I think we've gotten better as the years went on.
What would it mean for the program to get the last win to kind of set the stage for not only next year, but to kind of do that finish?
Oh, I think it'd be great, obviously, and like what it would do and stuff. I don't know. Maybe help recruiting and stuff. I think it would certainly possibly help some confidence of some guys coming back, possibly. But I'm always of the belief, Jim, and I don't know. Every year is a different entity in itself, especially in the days with the transfer portal, and you lose some seniors, you lose some guys, you bring some guys, and I think each year kind of when you start over on January, what is it, 20th this year? When you start over and you get everybody in there, it's a new deal and stuff. But I know it would certainly be fun to win.
Will you address, because you probably don't know about it as much as the guys that were here, but will you address kind of the situation that happened last year and how it got out of control?
I don't know. I haven't really decided because I haven't addressed anything that happened last year and stuff. Now I've addressed some things that that I don't make public that yeah, that I think that, but I haven't brought up anything. I mean, you know, I kept everybody that wanted to stay. I didn't cut one player when I came in here, and did it for a reason. You know, timing, number one. I felt like they should have another opportunity, and then with situations and how you can recruit and how you can't recruit and NIL and all that. I mean, dealt the hand I was played basically and stuff. So no, I mean, I told when I came in here that hey, look, everybody's got a fresh start, and I got a fresh start, and you better be willing to do it a different way though and stuff. So I've been careful not to do that, but I'll look more into that to be honest with you. I was told some stuff when I came here, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe AI will fill me in. But I mean, it's not something I've
But
like.
there, at the end of last game and how it ended with
Yeah,
the fight,
I'm not sure really to be honest with you. I was told a few things when I got here, and okay, whatever, and but I haven't really. But I'll ask, and maybe I will toward the end of the year because I was told a whole bunch of things when I got here. And you know, wait a minute, what I'm saying. I mean, it's
yeah.
new, and you got to fix this, you got to fix that. Yeah, okay, but I've tried to, you know, I don't know, counting high school in here. What's this, sixth, seventh program? I guess I've taken over and went in, and I've always tried to be, careful about, bringing up the past, and because the message has always been when I came in, hey, we're going to start over. If you want to be a part of it, good. If you don't, go. But we're going to kind of start over and stuff. So I'm careful, I guess, not to bring up the past. Like I'm not sure exactly what happened, and I definitely don't know who did what. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the kind of person 6 months later to bring up something. Hey, you remember when you did it? You know, I kind of want to move forward with the players and stuff. But it's a good point. I'm glad you're bringing it up because I may I may ask a few questions and see what I need to.
Well,
You
it was
know,
just the fight at both. There was a fight at
yeah.
the end. It was both sides. Just kind of the rivalry got out of control a little bit.
Well, that's not good and stuff. So I'll definitely ask about it a little bit and then maybe bring it up. I didn't bring it up last night, but we may talk about it a little bit Friday. But I think that I've probably been guilty of it too. But I think more of people than that to go in there and say, hey, we don't want this to get out of control and get in a fight at the end of the game. I think I expect more out of them than that. I want them to think I expect more out of them than that. If that does that make sense?
Yeah.
Than to go in and hash up the past or whatever. But and if something did happen, then obviously I would deal with it. But I think we're playing it. Hopefully, maybe in a way that, and the way we're doing things that, I hope they understand that that's very, very discouraged in terms of how we're playing. I think we've improved on some things, and hopefully that won't happen. But
Any thoughts
I'm
about?
glad you brought it up though, because I'm gonna think about it a little bit, and I'm sure. But AI usually brings up stuff to me and stuff, and he may be holding that one on me.
Any thoughts about being able to knock a rival out of the playoffs, possibly?
Uh, we just want to win the game and stuff, and so I'm all for as many teams that can get in. I think that would be awesome for our league, but I'm more about this game is important for us, and so what it means to Lamar or Southeastern or whoever else. I mean, that's their business. This game means a lot to us. It means I think it would be great for our players. I think it would be great for our program. And so what happens? What's the result of it? I really don't want to get into.